Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have a dual avatar Eldlich, dual avatar Souten, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be coming out in Phantom Rage, and Eldlich has also gone a bit more budget, if you might say. It's gotten a bit more budgets because it got reprinted in Maximum Gold, and so it's looking to be like an interesting archetype. It's more of a normal summon engine for Eldlich, just kind of like invoked or the synchro engine, but right here, well, I'll switch off quick animations right here, and we're up against Rocket, it seems. Pure Rocket using OCG ban list. The list is kind of weird, but it's fine. So we're going to go ahead, use our cursed Eldland, getting some searches. We can use Souten Calling, discarding the Eldlich, and then we can get some, we're going to be summoning 5 tokens, and then we can fuse with those tokens twice. So we're going to be summoning these 2 monsters. They're basically vanillas at this point because they gain effect if they're fusion summoned using a Souten effect monster, and since they were both made with tokens, it doesn't really matter too much. We're going to go ahead use the terraforming. We can search for 2 as 1. 2 as 1 is basically the field spell. On activation, you can search any Souten monster, and we're going to be searching Kokoku, which there are 2 normal summons in this deck. I think one searches the spells and the other searches the traps, so this one will search Souten Duty. And this card right here can just copy the effect of any Souten spell card in the graveyard, so we can fusion summon again because we have Calling in our graveyard. Now we can go ahead, use Eldlich, sending the Eldland to the graveyard to summon itself. And now we go ahead, use Eldland's effect, dumping a Conquistador, because why not? A 2 as 1 can summon another token, and then we set Souten Duty and Conquistador. I didn't think both tokens would be popped. I thought Souten Calling only destroys the token summoned by its effect, but it turns out it just destroys all tokens on the field during the end phase. So during the end phase, we use Conquistador, getting us an Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. They have a pretty decent hand. They have Dragon Shrine, which can send an Absoluter potentially. I don't know how good that would be. I think they should probably just send some other cards apart from Absoluter, because he already has 2 in his hand, as long as he can get a rocket somehow in the graveyard using and revive with Boot Sector Launch or something. But he does get to search for Tracer. He dumps a Galactic Spiral Dragon. He imperms this because your players can't read, they just assume it's a negate already. But either way, he was going to get cards on the field anyway, so that imperm would have been turned off. He goes ahead, summons some cards. I decide to use Souten's Duty, discarding the last card in my hand, summoning some tokens, fusing into another Gaian, and fusing into another Gaia. On summon, this card can pop an opponent's monster, so we pop the Tracer, and we can also use Conquistador to pop the Galactic Spiral Dragon. So this kind of stops him from going into Exceeds plays with rank 8s, or going into any tuner shenanigans. He goes into Boot Sector Launch. Unfortunately, of course, he has the Boot Sector Launch. We still have the ability to just negate a card he controls. He cannot go into a copy. I don't think he can go into Borload Savage Dragon because he doesn't have any link monsters in his graveyard. Instead, he just goes into Raider's Knight. Let's see his extra deck. What does he run for Raider's Knight? He runs Arc Rebellion. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he would have ODK'd because on summon Arc Rebellion would be able to just gain the attack of all of my monsters and then just one-shot this Gaia right here. Thankfully, we have this Gaian 2, which just acts as another negate. So 3 interruptions, not too bad. We also have a backup Scarlet Sanguine. So next turn we can summon another Eldlich, overlay into Gustav Max Liebe, and just demolish him for game. It's a very interesting deck. Uses the Souten as a normal summon engine rather than just kind of more of a synergetic engine, and the deck does discard cards, so that's a bit of synergy, I want to say. Not really, but it's a pretty interesting and fun deck. You should definitely go try it out, and we'll go to deck profile. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel, and I'll see you to the deck profile. So right here we have the deck, starting with the 3 copies of Yuhi of the Souten Fist. This is the one I said it searches the spell, and you kind of want to turbo out this card right here, Souten Calling, in order to like get your fusions on the field. It can, on the field, it can destroy one Souten card you control in order to search a Souten spell card, and if a Souten fusion monster you control, that was fusion summoned using an effect monster, which is not that easy in this deck, since you do kind of need to have these cards on the field, and since this just destroys itself, it's not that easy, unless you search it with 2 as 1, because then you can destroy the token generated by 2 as 1, and if a fusion monster that was fusion summoned using an effect monster is destroyed by battle card effect, you can just add it back to your hand. So it has a decent bit of recursion over there, and just really good. Just searches your main spell that you would just want to try get to, Souten Calling, and that's what it does. The 1 copy of Rhoda, all your students are warriors, so you might as well play Rhoda. 3 copies of Souten Calling, as this can discard 1 card, special summon as many Souten tokens as possible, and then you can fusion summon twice immediately afterwards. So you're able to fusion summon using those tokens because they count as Souten monsters, or you can just, if you already have some Souten monsters on the field, some effect ones, you can just fuse using them. It does lock you out of it does lock you into fusions for the extra deck, but that doesn't matter because, you know, Souten Calling is Souten Calling. I mean, Eldlich doesn't use the extra deck, so it doesn't really matter. The 3 copies of 2 is 1. This is your field spell on activation and searches, and then you can also summon tokens in order to like destroy for Yuhi and whatnot. So 2 as 1 kind of turns into a pseudo combo, 1 negate off it right there, and it is like kind of similar to the Alistair engine, except it is definitely more consistent, honestly, and you don't have to be afraid of running Pot of Extravagance. So that's something. 1 copy of Souten Exorcism. If you already have Souten Calling in your hand, this is your next best card to search off your Yuhi, because this just acts as a this acts as a pop, and it's a quick play spell. It destroys 1 Souten monster you control and a card your opponent controls, and if you destroy a Souten fusion monster, you can draw a card or banish 1 card from your opponent's graveyard. Usually you would want to go for the banish 1 card from your opponent's graveyard, but it also just triggers your other cards since it does destroy Souten monsters. So both Kokoko and your Yuhi have effects when a fusion monster is destroyed, which is just super powerful. You, as I said, will recycle itself. Kokoku, it will during your opponent's turn, if a Souten monster is destroyed by battle card effect, so if you say destroyed with the effect of Souten Exorcism, you can summon this card from your hand and any Souten monster from your extra deck, which is pretty powerful because you can summon this card right here, Guy of the Souten Fist. On special summon, you can destroy an opponent's monster, which is pretty strong. And on summon, it searches any of your Souten traps, so you can search Souten Duty. Definitely, it's an absurd card. You can just copy the effect of Souten Calling, so you can make cards like Gaia on your opponent's turn, and since you more than likely do already have the fusions on the field as Souten effect monsters, you're able to just go into another Gaion, which can turn into another negate. Just very powerful Souten Duty. 2 copies of your Eldlich Golden Lord. We're going into our Eldlich engine now. Since this isn't necessarily a pure variant, 2 is more than fine. 1 copy of Elixir of Black Awakening and 1 copy of Elixir of White Destiny. This is kind of standard ratio, just a 1-1, you know. 3 copies of your Cursed Eldland. This is going to be your main Eldlich searcher, just a very strong card. Searches cards so that for discards of terraforming, so you can maybe search a Eldlich, discard it off your Souten Calling, and you can just bring back the Eldlich, and in order to maybe resolve your other Golden Land spell trap cards. A triple Sanguine, you do have to play this at 3. It's you don't really have much of a choice here. We run the 3 copies of Conquistador just as a pop, and the 2 copies of Huaquero. I was running 3, but it was 41 cards. I wanted to cut it down to 40, so I'm just running the 2 Huaquero. That was the most cuttable card I could find. 24 more generic cards, 3 copies of Nibiru, super strong hand trap right now, 3 copies of Extravagance. You're not too scared of banishing anything since you are able to just run the all your fusion monsters at 3 or 2, so that's pretty nice. And finally, the 3 copies of Imperm. Imperm, just another generic handtrap being able to stop plays, and it's not a monster, so it can trigger cards like Triple Tactics Talents, which is popular, so that is pretty strong. Finally, for our extra deck, we run the 2 copy of Kongu, Heavenly General of the Souten. This is the more difficult fusion to summon. It requires 1 Yuhi plus 2 Souten monsters, so you do necessarily need this card. And what its effect is pretty lackluster too, where after damage calculation, if it attacks, you can bounce back an opponent's monsters, and your opponent can't really use effects during the damage step either. And when your opponent activates a card that targets this card, while you control 2 or more fusion monsters, you can just negate it. It's painfully average, if you get what I mean. Like, it has a very, very average effect. Just like target 1 piece of target protection and like a whiptail-esque effect, and on top of that, all it does, it's insanely difficult to summon too, so it's not really that important. If you're able to get it out, like, that's nice, I guess. But you know, you don't mind banishing it off Extravagance, so we run it at 2. We run the 3 Gaia, 3 Gaiun. You do need to run both of them at 3. You want to see them. You want to see them in your extra deck. To make sure you don't banish all 3 of Extravagance. And this card on some just pops a card and also buffs all your Souten fusion monsters by 300 attack and defense. I mean, it might come up just for the ODK, I guess. And Gaiun is able to just kind of protect all your Souten fusion monsters by just destroying a token instead, and it is an extra deck monster negate, which is pretty strong. A new Souten monster is out, I believe. It's kind of similar to this card, where it needs the Kokoku instead of the Yui and 2 other Souten monsters, and it is pretty strong. It's like an Omni monster negate and some other really strong effects on top of that. But I just want to keep this like a Phra Phantom Rage type deck profile, so I'm not going to be including that. Next, this extra deck, it doesn't really matter. This is honestly just some this is really personal choice. I'm running the 1 Libe, 1 Gustav Max in case you are able to grind enough to get 2 Golden Lords on the field. You're able to overlay into Gustav Max, detach 1 material, inflict 2k damage, and then you can instantly overlay into Libe, which can detach 1, gain 6000 attack, and like inflicting 2000 directly and then getting a 6000 attack Juggernaut, which can attack twice, mind you, is not that easy to survive. Some generic links: access code, Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier is a must-have since it is very, very easy to make in this deck, and it's pretty much auto win versus certain decks like other Eldlich mirror matches and Guru, Geist, all of those control decks. The 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn and Phoenix, just more generic cards, and finally the 1 copy of Link Spider in case I want to link off these trap monsters. So that's the deck. It's a pretty fun deck. I've been enjoying it lately, and I hope you do too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, as it really does help the channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.